Hey,
Hey, Richard. What's good, man?
can you hear me now?
And I can hear you.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think my earphones were just not in. Yeah, how are you doing?
Okay, overall, what's going on with you?
I'm now planning a trip to Europe actually for September. One of my friends randomly, well, he found like a race over there in Switzerland, and then he ultimately decided not to do it. He's just going to be over there with his family. So then I decided to do the race. So then me and him are going to meet up around the time that the race is going to happen. And yeah, the race is in like the Alps, and then after the race, we're gonna go to Zurich, which I guess is a city in Switzerland, and then Rome after that. Since you can get to Rome for like $100 once you're in Europe, you can fly there.
How long's the race?
The race is 100K. It's sort of actually there's different variations on this race. It's kind of insane. Like the farthest distance is 360K, and you can do that over multiple days. Then there's a 170K option, which I guess is like 100 miles, and then the one I'm doing 100K. I've done that distance before, but this one will be in the Alps, so I guess there's like 5K of elevation over the race, and then they have 50K marathon and half marathon, so you could do as short as like 21K in this
Yeah.
particular race.
Well,
Yeah.
I can see why your friend dropped out of the 100K.
Yeah, I was trying to convince him to do the 21K, but he says he's just going to do his own hike in the area. The race is not that expensive either. It's just like $100 or something.
I don't know how much they normally go for.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing like a multi-day race, they could be a couple $1,000s sometimes because they have to do all the like the aid stations, the medical. But this is pretty cool. Like basically, I'll be like hiking for like 100 kilometers in the Alps, and there'll be like people like every so often I'll encounter like a checkpoint. There'll be medical staff. There'll be like people making sure I have the right equipment. There'll be people like making sure I make it into the finish line, or else they'll go looking for me. So it's kind of nice to like for like a pretty low fee. Like it's only like I think it was $200 to enter the 100K. Then I'll have basically they tell me the route. They mark the route. There's other runners, so it's like I get to just do this big hike in the Alps, and I don't have to figure out like all the safety pieces myself. I just have people like telling me, sort of how to be safe and where to go and what to do.
You're calling it a hike, but you're actually going to run it, though, yeah?
Yeah, basically, I'll see. I ran 125K one time, like, and I jogged like slowly the entire time. And this was in actually near Edmonton, and it had about the same elevation, but that was a while ago. So for this one, I guess I'll maybe run like maybe 50K, and then I'll walk for a bit and make sure I'm eating. Like maybe I'll eat a sandwich and stuff like that. In addition, like I'll be constantly eating the whole time, but I'll make sure I'll take a break, like maybe in the middle, and just kind of walk it out and eat a bunch of stuff, make sure I'm hydrated, and then maybe just continue jogging. I guess it'll be anytime there's elevation. Like if I'm going up a hill, then I'll just be like really slowly walking, and then maybe I'll try to run faster like down hills.
Okay. Fun, man. Good. And that's in September.
Yeah, September 8th, I think. I have the race booked. Now I've booked the leave from work, so now I can start looking at. I think the flight is like $600 each way, but then actually for part of the trip I can just camp for like $8 a night. You can just camp in this place. I'm gonna bring like a one-person tent, so maybe that is pretty cheap, $8 a night to like camp, and then later I guess in Rome and stuff I'll have like a hotel, so that'll be like 200 a night. That'll be the flights and the actual hotels will be expensive, but the rest of the trip is not so much.
You can always try Airbnb.
Yeah, I looked. I'll have to look a bit at Airbnb. I always worry about like coordinating. Because let's say if I don't have like great cell signal, I get over there. I try to like coordinate like where I don't know how people do key pickup and stuff.
Oh, that should be. So I'm turning my place into an Airbnb because I'm taking off for most of the summer, and then I plan on taking off again in November, December to go to Costa Rica and
Nice.
Maybe do some yoga training there. Yeah, I just basically, I mean, I can have this place sit, but it'd be a lot better to make some extra money. But also, to when you turn it into a business, you get to claim maintenance and interest and what else? Yeah, the maintenance fees. So for instance, I just got my fridge repaired. My units on Airbnb, I can claim that as a maintenance expense to bring down my income. And those expenses you can go into the negative with. You get the business home use expenses that can bring you down to zero. Capital expenses will bring you down to zero. You can't go into negative with capital expenses, which I don't like. But so basically, yeah, I can bring my income into the negative if I get nobody interested. I did set it deliberately high because I'm trying to do a little bit of maintenance. Still, I got to finish up the fridge. I just got the AC checked out, and it's fine. I'm just a dodo, and I had the ventilation. I had the ventilation going at the same time. So, fun fact for people that don't know: if you are running your ventilation and bringing in warm air, it's defeating. It will defeat your AC. So my AC is like working super hard to try to cool a place down, but then there's this other fan that's bringing hot air in. So it's sort of counterintuitive. I did the smart stuff. I mean, I changed my filter often for the furnace, and then I went to the unit outside, and I obviously with the power off, I went behind it, took off the panel, and I cleaned out the back where it was all there's a whole bunch of fluff and shit that was blocking it. So I mean, I did everything necessary to make the AC run. I just had the ventilation going at the same time. So when the technician came in, he's like, "Yeah, man, nothing's wrong. It's just, do you know what this is?" I'm like, "No." So he taught me, and it was a free diagnostic. So
Nice.
what I'm getting at though is, yeah, I mean, like these expenses, they can be covered off. So yeah, the fact that with the mortgage rates going up and me paying more interest, it's nice. It's nice that I can write that off and get something back. It's not going to hurt me as much as it would if I was just leaving the house vacant and paying all this money. And also kind of like leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I have basically whatever, like a good chunk of my income going to pay for a place that I'm not even at. That's just leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
You can rent your lawn too. People can. There's like websites where you can allow people to like pay you to camp on your lawn.
Yeah, just not here. This is like a condo area. I can barely hang out on my lawn without people looking at me.
What's your plan for like when people rent it? Like, how do you give them the key and stuff?
So I have a keypad. So I changed out the lock, and so I just have a keypad. And
you just text them.
No, with Airbnb, if you put the effort in, I don't know if all this is relatively new or not. I haven't personally used Airbnb. I just know about it. When they book, all that shit is pushed to them. So you can have a step-by-step of how they check in. You can have a man for your house, like my entertainment system, for instance, not intuitive. So I'm like, okay, press the PlayStation 5 button on the controller. Step 1. Step 2, press the power button on the Sony TV controller. Step 3, press the power button on the Yamaha soundbar controller. Step 4, like I actually lay it out.
Yeah.
So I even have the Wi-Fi password put in and the average speed. So like they're not going to have to figure anything out. I made it so easy for them that I'm deliberately adding a challenge, which is find my penguin. So I have this little cute penguin thingy, and I hide it. I'm like, okay, because everything's so easy, I want to give you a little bit of a challenge. If you find this penguin, your next stay, you'll get a certain amount of money off. I might even give them a free night. Now, what this does, I can maybe get some reoccurring clients, right? Reoccurring guests. And it's also fun. And the penguin's going to be hidden in different places each time, which is going to be fun for me.
That's a pretty good idea, but how did you think of that?
Well, I got this penguin from the dollar store. It's supposed to be a container to hold shampoo. It was defective. It was not holding anything, so I ripped off the bottom. And I just have it sitting on my counter. And every time I come upstairs, it's smiling at me. And it's right on the counter as I come up the stairs. And I'm like, it just makes me smile. Like, this thing's fucking awesome. So I was like, I need to find a purpose for this thing.
How do they prove they found it? And then do you give them do you get a discount code or something?
I mean, I can charge them whatever. I mean, I can even they pay the full price and I e-transfer it back to them. Like, those are just, I'll figure that piece out. But, I mean, all they got to do is message me and tell me where it is.
Yeah.
So they find it. And because it's changing each time, it's not like somebody can leave it in the remarks or the comments. Oh, it's here. No.
It gets harder each time. The more you find it, the harder it gets.
And it's neat because, like, it has them going through the house too. So I'm pretty neat. No, I am neat, minimalist, organized. Like, there's nothing out of place here, even right now. So they'll go around and kind of show off my minimalistness. Maybe inspire them to do the same.
Have you seen like geocaching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once they find the penguin enough, you can send them like into the woods and just be like, penguin level 3 is somewhere in the woods. There's a geocache with a code in it.
I could put it outside. That's actually not a bad idea, Richard. Thanks. I'll let them know, like, it's inside or out. But if I put it outside and I got some guests roaming around, I mean, I'm not technically supposed to Airbnb this place. I'm breaking a bylaw doing so. But the way this condo is set up, there's no lobby. They access it from the outside. I have to pay for the maintenance of my own bloody AC. So it's like, this to me, as far as I'm concerned, is its own standing unit. It's like a townhouse. So to have somebody tell me, you can't have someone in your place, there's no reason for it. I get with a lobby, there's like, security reasons. You let someone into the building itself and they can screw around and destroy stuff. Here, the only access they have is to my place. They're not going to be accessing any sort of common area. So the reason for the bylaw, I don't believe it, and I'm not going to fight it, because then it's going to make it apparent that that's something I want to change, or that I'm planning to do an Airbnb. So between you, me, and who's ever listening, I am breaking the rules because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot. Even during university, I rented like an Airbnb, I think, for one semester, and there was some kind of there was like no short-term stays or something, but I was like, I think my stay technically was like less than whatever, 90 days or whatever, but nobody, like, there was a front desk even at the building and stuff, like they didn't seem to ask any questions about it. Just seems like the rules, I don't know, I guess the rules are just there in case like you turn like a house into like a party house, then they have some way to come back at you. But if everybody's like being considerate, then nobody would complain anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you run that risk with even just long-term tenants. Like, they could be partiers, right? So I mean, there's always risk. That's the thing. How you limit risk with Airbnb is, so I've learned this from someone I'm seeing who runs a bunch of Airbnbs, 10 total. It's like an empire. It's pretty interesting. So I learned a lot from her, but also, I mean, I'm teaching her about automating it. So like logistics, lines of supply. So basically, like, because there's so many places in different geographical areas, like, she pretty much, like, I'm like, you got to turn your garage into a warehouse. And her main garage is like a third line warehouse. And the idea is, she has a lot of the stuff that she needs to create new Airbnbs and a lot of the replacement items there. She has an inventory. And then she has a second line at one of her places in Oakville and that place is accessible to her, the cleaners. So she, instead of going to a company, she goes to freelance cleaners and says, you know, do you want to take on a whole bunch of Airbnbs? And she has more than one because she learned just recently having one is a single point of failure. Because when you use a cleaner properly, they pretty much automate it on the ground. So they'll go in, they'll clean, they'll change the linen, they'll set up the towels, they will plunge the toilet that's clogged, you know, they'll make sure it's spick and span and perfect and set up for the next person, take out the garbage, whatever, right? But for whatever reason, like instead of having the replacement sheets at each location, which is first line, which is an option, but more costly, and we'll eventually get there and have redundancies in the third line if required, like the consumables like laundry detergent and dryer sheets. I don't use that shit myself, but like I use detergent, like the concentrated strips, but I don't use dryer sheets. But she can have all her consumables at the second line that need to be replenished eventually. So she'll have a little bit at the first line, which are the units themselves, like the dish soap and all that stuff. But that's going to run out over a span of a few months, right? And then the cleaner can go in and go to the second line place, which is a central location, and replenish. Ideally, what she should do is go to the second line first every time, grab the fluids or whatever, consumables, burn it in the car, go to the unit, and just in case, top it up, the first line inventory. Anyway, trying to set her up with this, trying to get to the point of automation. But to get to automation, you need to have everything perfect first, so then you can, you know, give instructions and step away. If you try to automate something that isn't ready, it's going to be even more of a shit show. So learning from her, you know, best practices, one of them is coming to the actual point. I do that sometimes, I get long-winded, but you can specify how long your minimum stay is for your guest. So I have mine at 4 days. What that does is it means it limits weekend partiers. So if someone is going to come here, it's probably because of work, or you know, they want to be in Ottawa for vacation, and then everything downtown is just an arm and a leg. So they're willing to commute the extra 30 minutes to go to downtown each day. I had one bite. I had one for 5 days at the high rate that I'm charging, which is $200 a night. And, you know, he was a highly rated dude, very interested. But I set the price deliberately high because I didn't want anybody. I just wanted it on the market so that I can claim shit. So now what I'm doing is I'm planning to leave for 2 weeks, and I'm offering a discount of 20% for the first 3 people that, you know, rent the place up. So we'll see what happens. But by having the minimum stay at 4 days, you're going to deter the partiers, the weekend warrior types. That's just one little trick.
Having 10 Airbnbs, I never thought about the cleaning challenge of that. And that, like, you'd have to hire some kind of cleaning service and do something. And also, yeah, the like stocking the replenishment supplies. I didn't think about that either.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you want to go remote, right? And she doesn't want to have to show up at every place herself to take inventory and to look, right?
Especially if you had like places around the world or something like that, around the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've encouraged her to actually get an operator, like a manager. There's a bit of a commission that's required. I think it's like 15-20%. But they do the day-to-day. And they only report the big stuff up the chain. So they'll handle all 10 properties, because it's not just the cleaning, the interior, but replenishing the consumables. She has houses. So yard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's the initial setup, which should be her. Now, her running the business, she needs to be like the one that's expanding it. So if all of her energy is going into the small mundane task, then she's not able to focus on the future. Or unless she's going to be working crazy hours. And the idea is to not work crazy hours so she can actually enjoy the fruits of her labor. And go away for a duration of time, like a mini retirement, as they call them in the 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
So the idea is give the day-to-day operations, the hiring and all that stuff of cleaners, the interviews, the dealing with the Airbnb app, all of that gets handed over to one operations manager. And she found one, interviewed, and gave 3 properties over just as a trial. Someone that's not part of a company, someone that actually really wants to make some money here, right? Because the companies will treat you like you're fucking nothing, right? They'll treat you like you're a number. I've already dealt with one like that with my rental unit. They just spent my money like it was nothing. They didn't give a shit when it came to the maintenance stuff. Like $250 to fix a fucking clogged toilet or something, or to clear out a drain. It's just like, okay, guys, come on. So they were fired. I picked a smaller company of just 3 people. They are a lot more. They care about your money, pretty much. And
Right.
for instance, they do a quarterly inspection of the unit, and they bring a handyman along, and the handyman will fix the small stuff, and they'll provide me with a report. All that for free. It's all part of the 10% commission I pay them. So yeah, she's hired an operation guy, and this will free up her time to be able to focus on the next step. So she has 10 units right now. If she wants to have more units, needs to work with. There's a realtor that helps with that kind of stuff. Work with the realtor. She has conditions that have to be met. She wants an upper and lower unit that can be separated by a locked door. And then that realtor will go around in the nice areas and with easy lawns to maintain. And there's a whole bunch of criteria, and then find a place. And then when you find a place, because she doesn't just buy the places. This is the neat thing that she does. And this is what other people can do as well, is you just rent a place. You rent out a whole house. And then you Airbnb both the upper and lower units. So you rent a house that has already set up to be able to do this. And they're not everywhere, so you got to look for them, and that's why you get a realtor to help you out. And that way, you can double your income. Or rather, you can double what you put into the place. So for instance, you say the rental is $5,000, you can easily clear $10,000 the Airbnb.
I
So
guess that's
you're making $5,000 per month per that unit.
that's
But
tough if you maintain, you sort of always have to be trying to get renters in there. If it's your profit starts going down if there's vacant, you're renting it but it's vacant, then you have to sort of keep ahead of it somehow.
That's why you got to fluctuate your price depending on the season. So summertime, depending on where you are, you can charge a bit more, less than the hotels, or as much. But it depends on the season, really. Also the area too. So if you're picking a really shitty area that no one wants to be in, I'm starting to consider my place that. I'd rather be downtown personally, downtown Ottawa. Well, people aren't going to be as inclined to pick your place over something that's closer to where they want to be, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to lower your price even more because now they want to be downtown and you're on the outskirts and they travel 30 minutes, so that's additional time and gas they have to factor in. So yeah, you can pick a place, it can meet all your criteria, but it could just be in a shit location. And if you pick the wrong prices, then yeah, you're not doing yourself any justice. And also too, if you're
Yeah.
just if you're a shit host and you have like a poor rating, people aren't going to pick you as well. So I mean, it's important. There's a bunch to consider as like the lead, as the host. So, but that's where her attention needs to be. Like her attention needs to be 5-star ratings. So like quality assurance, expansion as well, finding the right places that meet the criteria, and all of that is, as far as I'm concerned, is a full-time job. But then when you find a place, you got to set it up. So if the rental's not fully furnished, you got to get beds, you got to get plates, you got to get cutlery, you got to get furniture outside of the beds, like the couch, the TV, stuff like that. And all that requires a shit ton of work too. So, and that's why the third line unit, get a bunch of TVs in reserve, get some chairs in reserve, get some plates in reserve, cutlery. So when she pulls the trigger on a place, she already has all the stuff that she needs in her third line, that she can just take it, boom, set up.
And you can Airbnb the third line, and somebody can like watch like 3 TVs and have all the snacks.
Yeah, the garage is a tight space. Yeah, so like I've taught her, Costco delivers mattresses right to the unit, so you don't have to like pick up a mattress or go to fucking what's it called, Sleep Canada or something. I don't know. Maybe they deliver for a fee, but Costco delivers for free right to your door. They'll give you a small box for it.
Yeah, small box, right? Like, is it a totally foam mattress? I ordered a mattress that was like just only foam, and it comes in like a compressed like air sealed bag, and so it's really tiny, and then you open it, it expands.
I'm sure that's an option.
Yeah, those are cool. But then once you expand it, you can never collapse it again. So it's just it's a giant mattress.
Yeah. Yeah, good for shipping, right? It lowers costs that way. Which if you want, to be.
It would be nice to go. Yeah, like if someone could just come in, put my mattress in a bag, and then like seal it and shrink it so that I could move it easier. That'd be kind of cool.
You just came up with an idea, Richard. I would probably try to.
Yeah.
I would maybe try to trademark that or patent that idea, because it's genius. I mean, well, people would just say get an air mattress, but having the ability, so like that foam mattress, getting a cover for it, and then a vacuum attachment where you can suck out all the air and compress the shit out of it. You might need a special compressor, but then that could be a service that's provided.
Yeah, you could move like 6 mattresses in like one van if you could shrink them, because they get like a lot smaller, a lot easier.
It's it's not gonna be the solution for everybody, but maybe you can tack on to these guys with the flow mattresses and being like, yo, I can offer this service in addition to what you guys have, and I can go in after the fact. I mean, this would be large scale, because there's tons of people that are buying the foam mattress and be like, yeah, this is a service. We come in, we compress it back down to its original size for easy transportation. I'm sure if that's offered to people that buy the foam mattresses, they're going to jump at that if it's a small enough fee in order to do it for moving.
Yeah, because there are certain items that are like, you need to hire a moving company just for that one item. Like in August, I'll move like 2 blocks from my current place to another place. And, you got to hire like a moving company for these bulk items. But it would be cool if everything I owned was just sort of break apart, portable, like vacuum sealable, and just you could carry it like 4 or 5 big items and you're done, and then a couple of bins or something. But instead it's like a whole 2 guys and like a truck that have to carry all these things.
The foam mattress could perhaps come with an auto pump like the air mattress. So then that comes with it, with the bag as an add-on, maybe $50 total. And then that way there's no service required. They just have it and you can just sell it and forget it. And then they use the pump, and they put the bag around the mattress. They use the pump, which is probably more powerful than a vacuum cleaner. And it sucks out all the air, just like with the air mattress, right? The air mattress pump, you can use it to, it's like the one that I have is built in. You inflate it, but then there's also a deflate option, which I think is neat. So you can suck the air out until it's compressed down. Oh, I think you got an idea there, Richard. I would look into, spend the money and get that idea captured, because even if you don't do anything with it, if you patent the idea, if I'm using the right word here, or safeguard it, if someone decides to use your idea, they pay you royalties. Fuck, I should do that. I also have another idea. I was talking with my other buddy, Ben, there, about, the cost of bringing things in. So, like, you got a shirt that's a bit oversized on the side, like you lose some weight, or if you want a trim fit, you bring it to a tailor, they're charging $20 a shirt. I'm like, they're all they're doing is folding it in and stitching it down on the side, right? I mean, obviously, there's more that they could do, like the shoulders, but then you just buy a new shirt, because at that point in time, you just don't have the right fitting clothes. But let's say well, like usually, like, so for me, I'm not a mesomorph, but I have a V shape, so big shoulders, and I get skinnier in the midsection. So I buy clothes, and they don't look good because they fit around the shoulders and the neck. So when I buy sizes, they actually fit me. But then I guess they expect dudes to have large torsos, so nothing really fits around the waist well. So I had a bunch of shirts that are like that, and I took them in, and they're like, they wanted $20, and I walked away. Fucking hell no. That's how much the shirt's worth right now. So I was like, this portable hemming device that's not a sewing machine. It's super lightweight, convenient, comes with, 3 different colors, white thread, or colors of thread, white thread, black thread, gray thread, just to simplify things. And basically, you just, once you figure out, once you bring in the side and pin it, or you figure out how much you want to bring it in, you just turn the shirt inside out and boom, run it from the top to the bottom, and it sews it all up for you nice and easy without having a sewing machine. So what's neat is it's
It
lightweight.
sounds like just like a handheld sewing machine. I don't know if
Sounds like it. It sounds
possibly
like it.
those don't even. I don't know if those even exist though. Like maybe this idea could just be like the first handheld sewing machine. Because I haven't even seen those before.
Yeah, but like it has to have like guides, and it has to be like no skill required. It has to be dummy proof, where you fold up your sides as much as you want in, you link it from the top, or you put it in on the top there, and then it's just you bring it down and it does it all for you. Like I need to make it simple. The less instructions, the better. And I got to think it through a little bit more. But I don't want to own a sewing machine, because the only thing I want to do is bring my shirts. Like, I'm not going to do any sort of mending or whatever else. I have a needle and thread, and that's all I need for like holes and stuff. So I'm not going to sew. I don't want a sewing machine. I just want a quick solution for this stuff. It costs between maybe $60. When you have something like this, you charge between 60 and 200, I guess. That's something I learned from the 4-hour work week. But you pay $60 and you got 3 shirts, and then you pay for it. It pays for itself, right? Plus, it's in the convenience of your own home.
Yeah.
So just got to figure it out. I mean, the idea is something that I can capture and safeguard. Turning it into an actual product is another thing. And like this day and age, do you really want to create your own product? I mean, you can, but there's, so many other ways to make money by selling other people's products. And
Can you
that's,
glue? Can you glue shirts?
well, that was another thing I was thinking. I could just glue it, but how to go about gluing it? Like, I bring the shirt in, but then how does the glue work? How do you pinch it together and it holds? Like, could very well be glue. Could be a glue that can wash out with hot water. I don't know. That way, most people wash their clothes with cold water, but hot water will wash out the glue, and then you have the shirt back to its original size. So glue is totally an option as well. Anyway, yeah, ideas. I mean, they can make money.
Yeah, especially I like Kickstarter and stuff like that. It'd be cool, like you make a patent, you make the plans, you get like a sign off by a factory, and then you just do a Kickstarter saying like, if you raise a certain amount, then you just okay it with the factory and they start producing or something.
Yeah. But knowing what I've learned is you follow the money. So, I mean, you got to determine there's a market for it, first of all. I might be the only dude out there that actually wants something like this. So that's something I've learned. You got to determine the market. You got to determine if there's a desire for the product before you build the product. And that's like a marketing thing. And then the 4-hour work week covers how to do that. And it's a bit shady, but like how to test to see if people want it. Now, the what was it? The thing that you talked about is a way to do it.
Oh,
But that's a lot of
Kickstarter.
the
Yeah,
Kickstarter is a lot of work, though. I mean, you basically have to
yeah,
build the product and then see if there's a market before you go forward with it. That's a lot of work. So you're doing all that work, and there may not be a market for it. So the other idea is you follow the money. You look at products where there's already a market for it, and then you go and sell that product with just a new angle or with some improvements. So you take it. It's almost like, I don't know. It's not like copying, because a lot of the affiliate marketing, whatever, what's going on out there is like these companies want you to sell. They want you to copy and paste the ad. The more exposure they have, the more they sell, right? So I mean, like, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, if you have a product or service, you got to market it. You got to get it out there. If you don't, you can have the best product in the world, the best service in the world, but if no one knows about it, you're not going to make any money. So I mean, they want this. They want you to copy paste. They want multiple people, multiple platforms selling the product if they put it out there for that, right?
yeah.
So if there's a market for that product and hundreds of thousands are selling every week, or items, products, then why not take that, copy, paste it, have more exposure, and then also get some of the commission from it.
That
And
sounds
it,
like a good tent at a sideburn. Is you just tailor everybody's shirts to perfectly fit them. Just they walk in, you give them free shirt tailoring
yeah, it's a gift for sure. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I've dropped out of it.
out of the tribe.
I dropped out of the, yeah. So like living for that and making that community my sole focus, my main investment when it comes to people, I realize that that's not correct for me and who I am. So they're very much about, um, they say acceptance. Kind of on the fence about that, but they're about expression and being free and like getting hammered and releasing. Okay, so they go and they take their pent up energy and they release and they fuck or they do drugs or you know they have some deep conversations. So it's a release. These people come together and they release in a safe space. And I signed up for the Lakes of Fire and I just wasn't excited to go because for me I don't need another release. I had that release at the Sideburn and that was enough, right? So these people, they're living for the next release. They need the release, they need the release. And I realized like that's not me. I'm about growth and development and pursuing the next goal. Releasing requires, in my mind, it's the release of energy, good and bad. And I didn't have the energy in me to go to this next one. I didn't have any energy to release. I just finished a 5-day
Yeah,
backpacking trip in BC, right? So
yeah. It seems
uh
quite soon. Only a few
yeah,
months later.
it was like a few days later, right? Going from the backpacking trip to this thing. But yeah, just going from the Sideburn to the other festival is too much.
I
And
found
then,
that with like I don't know how many of the exact same people go to everything, but I've always found that with really any community, it's always like I go to an event, it's cool, and then like 2 weeks later, there's like another event that's like just as cool. But for me, it's like I tried that, I want to go try something else. But when you look at like the people that are like dedicated to that community, like they're just doing this one thing over and over again, and it's always interesting to me how like when you show up for the first time, you think like this is new and different and unique, but then you realize like all these people have done like 10 of them already and they're going to do like another 10. And you just kind of feel like, well, when do we do something else? Like I would like to go with this community and go do a different activity, but every community is always like kind of focused on one one specific activity, and it's hard to find a community that it's like fun people to be around, but they keep it fresh and they do different things. There's always like, a core activity that everyone has in common and they keep like doing it over and over again. And unless you're like really into that one activity, it's hard to stay exclusively with that community.
yeah. So I sort of pulled out. I'm not, I don't live in Toronto. I don't live where all the events are happening, so I can't join in. So kind of just took a few steps back, pulled out of the groups, like removed myself from them. I grabbed a bunch of friends, like not grabbed. I made a few friends, some that I like more than others. And I figure I'll keep in touch with them, see what's going on, right? I'm on the Sideburn page, and I know there's the Big Burn, and that they're looking for people for that, this one group, and I was invited to join. But if I'm going to go to the Big Burn, I said, like, what I want to do is I want to help them build stuff. I want to help build the village. I want to work with a saw. I want to hammer shit in, right? Like, I want to build stuff. I want to grow something. I want to add value. And Buddy told me that it's already all pre-built. I'm like, well, fuck. I don't want to just go and release. I want to go and I want to build something, right? So I think in the future when I go to these things, I'm going to join the building group. It's not an official camp. What it is, it's like the DSP or DWP, DPW, Department of Service and Works, or Works and Service. Anyway, they go and they're responsible for the infrastructure. They help with repairs. They go a week before the event starts to lay out the land and to help build the effigy, and that's the shit that I want to do. And there's a big group of people, and they're all, I imagine, like-minded. They're accepting. They got all the principles, but also too they like to build stuff. So I think that's going to be how I'm going to do this from now on. I'll be able to relate.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I can relate better to these people than to just the average person there who's looking to get off, right? So
that would be a neat thing to film and like put up as like a YouTube video, is like if you helped like build the foundation for Burning Man, just like film whatever happens that week. Like, what are you building? Who's there? What's going on?
Yeah.
Just, like, do a daily check-in.
Yeah, and they do that. They actually there's
yeah, I'm sure someone has like broadcasted that.
Yeah, there's someone on the group that does it.
Yeah, it's not even, I never thought about that like someone's got to build that stuff. I actually thought it was, yeah, I guess I watched a Burning Man documentary and a lot of stuff was built when they showed up on the first day, but I thought it was sort of like different, I guess it's different groups of artists, whoever's building and installing the different installations, they've got some prior arrangement like the week before or something. And then I guess people add stuff and build minor things like during the actual festival until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to. That's something. For a while, one of my coworkers was like he went to Burning Man like a couple times, the actual thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty interested. If I could figure out some way to go, like I would need like a lot of details beforehand. I would need transportation. I would need to figure out like just a place to stay, like maybe someone who's done it before. I would like to go to like the actual Burning Man and just spend part of it, like most of it there, just wandering, checking stuff out. I think it would be like for me, it'd be like a one-time experience. Maybe
Maybe
I'll organize I
maybe
could
we
organize.
can
Yeah, we could go.
maybe we can go for that one time.
I wish there was like an ultra marathon around Burning Man where you live and you stay at Burning Man, but every day you just run like a couple laps around the whole thing on like some kind of pathway, and like by the end of Burning Man you've ran like 100 miles, over however many days, like a week or whatever.
You could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure they would like support it. It would be fun to do. Like, I always just wish, because that's for me like a race. Like, what I want to do is just go places and run, and I just want to pay someone to tell me like, here's where you stay, here's what you eat, like here's how many times you run each day, and here's the other people on the trip, and like I just want someone to handle all that, and I just pay them, and then they sort of tell me like, here's your bib, here's your route, and it solves the whole problem of like the like toughest problem for me is like, what do I do? Like I always like to know like, what is my list of activities in advance. With Burning Man, I would probably just go there and wander and see what happens, because I think that's the spirit of it. Maybe I would do some running.
Yeah, I think wandering is a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if running is a good idea.
That's the tough part, because yeah, like I hear, like there's a lot of like free food and stuff like that. You can't really guarantee like safety support, because everything is sort of in flux, I guess, to a certain extent.
Like, yeah, you're supposed to go and be completely self-sufficient. But yeah, I think if you need something, people would help you out.
In a documentary, there was a lot of like people lined up for like free food. I think some people just show up there and they just give out like free hot dogs the entire time. But you
Yeah.
just gotta line up for that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one person at Cyburn that was like a single person camp that was like, may or may not make you pancakes. Like, depends on how I feel.
Just like a big lineup, and then each person they either say like, you're gonna get pancakes or you don't, and you just have to wait to see if they're gonna do it.
Actually, didn't go for the pancake myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty intimidated by it, but if you actually did go there, then I would be pretty interested to know your experience. And then if you were like going back a second time, I would like team up and ride on your experience.
Right on. Sounds good to me.
I would probably try to get it, like rope in some other friends too.
Yeah, I just definitely not living for it like some people. Some people are living for the next release, and that's not me. So what life has taught me is the importance of diversifying. And it seems to be with not just money, but with your friend base and your community and in many areas. So it's, just don't put all your eggs in one basket is what life continues to teach me.
It's tough though. I always, if I'm part of like different communities, I always feel like I'm the only thing in common with all of them. And like, if I just have feelings themselves, it's always unclear, like, will this community understand? Will, like, if I go to the ultra running community and I talk about like how I feel about programming, or I go to my like boss and I talk about like some other life thing, like none of these people can give you like general advice or just like think about it all together. They're all like their own piece. And so sometimes it's like either lonely or puzzling to me, like like where's the resource or the person or the community that just will tie it all together and make me feel like there's some cohesion to it all instead of just like
the leader, what you're talking about.
some kind of, well, for me it'd be like if I could hire like a life coach or something, like someone that I would tell them like these are all the things that I do, and just tell me like, like, because every community sort of like, it's almost like every community you join, they think like they found the answer, but then you go to you go to like 5 communities and they've all found the answer like themselves, and you could spend like your whole life part of that community thinking like you found the answer, but then like they can't all be right, like it's sort of like maybe the answer is that they've all found an approximately similar version of the truth or something like that. Like what I'm realizing now is like there's like Buddhism and monks and Zen, and there's like yoga and meditation and mindfulness, and then even just like ultra marathoning, like when you're running super long distance and you sort of get into like a meditative state, like the things that you sort of learn about your body and about like what this all means, and facing challenge for the sake of facing challenge, like those are all seem to be lessons that eventually like mindfulness will say sort of similar things, and like Buddhism has these like teachings of the same things. And then it seems like uh like Sideburns, Burning Man, like all these communities, they sort of just come back to the same like core lessons about like companionship and love and self-respect and self-care, and like you know uh like sort of breaking your emotions away from your experiences, like when trying to distance how you feel about the news from like what the news is or something. And
Or just don't watch the news.
yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely lots of overlap.
Yeah,
And
but it's like, what is the one true community, like where, because I could just like, I want to just like go to a room full of people that all of the other people, they just agree like, yeah, like everyone, all these other communities, they're basically just looking for the same thing. Like they just want to be in a room with other people and feel like they belong. And so let's just strip away all the other stuff, like let's just go to a room and then just directly experience belonging with other people. And to pass the time, we might do some activities, but like, let's not go hardcore into like one activity. Let's just do like whatever the next thing is we think of, and then just know that the purpose is not the activity or the obsession over like the specific activity, but it's just like doing a thing with these other people, like focusing on the people. And
yeah,
then,
there's something like that actually. It's called Reset or Camp Reset, and it's one of the things that kept coming up at my time at Sideburn, and when I went to the farm to help out.
oh yeah,
2 different people, if not 3 different people, mentioned the Camp Reset there. If you go to Google and you just put in Reset, Camp Reset 2023, it will, there's the website, and it's pretty much what you're talking about. It's an opportunity to come together with folks. It's also at the same time, it's a technology detox, so no phones. You leave the titles and what you do at the door, and you play as children, but as adults. So you're adults playing as children, and you're just having a good time. What the activities are, I'm not really 100% sure. Looks like there's
I don't
some
think I
yoga.
found it. Which
I think
I
there
don't think I found this site. Camp Reset Sideburn.
Camp Reset 2023. There's quite a bunch of people in that picture.
Is it like thisisreset.org?
This is reset.org, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is something I'm considering doing in September. And you'll meet people who just want the same thing, who want to feel connected, want to be accepted, true belonging. But these are people who are deliberately seeking this out. So, and have likely gone to a Sideburn or a Burning Man or know people from it. And so I would look into that. And I am going to look into it. But if I were you, I'd look into it. Everybody should look into it. Because that's what we're looking for, really, at the end of the day. Group of like-minded people who, want to be accepted and who are willing to accept others. I've always been accepting of others. Didn't matter which group I was a part of. Being a jock or musician or a gangster. I mean, I rotated between all the groups at the same time. I was all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, like even the oddballs in school, whichever school, high school, university, elementary school, I made friends with any and everybody. People that might have been a social outcast, still would hang out with them. I find the most interesting people are the ones that don't conform to the groups. The ones that are individual thinkers that aren't usually accepted into the groups are the most fascinating people. Really and truly. I've always been that way.
Yeah,
I've always.
That is an interesting point. I've found that a lot. Just unique people that don't conform to like the general stuff. They're different in some way. That's always super interesting.
So yeah, I've never had issues with accepting others for who they are. Like for instance, like if I see someone who's significantly overweight at the gym, my first thought is like, that's great. They're applying themselves and they're trying to grow and they're trying to better how they are. Right? Like it's not that I don't look at them in a judging way and be like, they'll never look at them. They're pathetic or they can't lift or whatever else. It's like those thoughts never cross my mind. When I see them.
I've always thought, it's like they're I guess they're where they should, where they want to be or where they should be, even if they haven't made progress yet. Yeah.
They're making an effort. But why I
Yeah.
say that is because to me the gym is like another community. The people that go there, when you go to the gym enough, at the same time, same days, you start to come across the same people. And you got the evening crew, which a lot of people go in the evening because it's after work, right? But then if you go with the morning crew, the 5 a.m. crew, these are the people that are like, they're at a different level because one, they got the discipline to go to bed early and wake up early, but they also understand the importance of training in the morning. That's when your testosterone is the highest, for instance. They also know the follow-on effects. Like when you train in the morning, you're constantly burning calories and your mood's better and you're less likely to miss a workout session. You're more likely to be energized because you're working with the cortisol release that happens between 3 and 5 instead of, at the end of the day when you've dragged ass and you're trying to get to the gym. Like, it's like that crew knows. And the fact that and you're showing up and you see them all the time, I find it's a great group.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So anyway, what I'm trying to say is like the gym too, it's its own community. These are people that come together because they want to grow. They're trying to better their bodies, the way they look for health or aesthetic reasons, but they're about growth. That's something that they value. And they also value performance. So, at least from my perspective, at least just how I see it, when I see someone at the gym who is trying and who's consistently trying to improve themselves, that's great. That's what I value, and I don't judge them in a negative way. It's more of a, right on, good fucking job.
Yeah.
And I just hope that they see me training and ask questions. Because I don't like to go up to people and be like, this is what you should be doing. Or like, unless they're doing something dangerous. But like, I love to be able to share what it is I've learned and what I know. Because it helps someone else.
It's interesting that there isn't, like, the gym doesn't really do any social stuff. Like, there's no, like, weekly meetup for like just people that are going to the gym that just want to go to the gym and meet the other people that are there, like just not for a workout, but like just like a social event once a week just to meet the other people that are at the gym and maybe find like a gym partner and stuff.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. It could be a thing depending on the gym. If it's not, I mean, you can create it. You can just put a poster up, Facebook group or Instagram group or whatever. I don't know how the groups work on anything else except Facebook. But you'd be like, yo, join this group, join this community. Brand new. We'll have an event this upcoming week or month and get together for some basketball or for another sport.
Actually, for bouldering, I've wanted to do that with bouldering. I find a little bit I've seen like, groups and stuff at bouldering gym, and through my work, there's some people like at my work that have like internal mailing lists of bouldering. But that's something that I would want. I want to like go every week with some people and go bouldering. And I found some coworkers that did it, but I never really found like a schedule that I could maintain. But that's something that I want.
Nice. Yeah, the whole idea actually was when I went to, about like putting the poster up, is when I went to rock climbing gym last winter. I saw that there was a board that was up with people looking for partners to climb. They put down their name and their contact information. It was just like, they're looking for people to hang out with. They're looking for people to climb with. Like, this is amazing. And I love the energy there, because for me, climbing is not just, well, there's multiple things with climbing. You're increasing your skill doing it. You're building strength, and you're also having fun. I was working out for hours, technically, and I was having a blast. I couldn't get enough. I could not get enough. Now, in addition to the climbing, there's like a little mini gym in the center of this place. And I'm like doing pull-ups and I'm doing dips and shit in addition to the climbing. In between, I'm just so much fun. So yeah, my goal when I got back here was to find a climbing gym, but everything's too far away. Now, that I know it's something I'm creating excuses, but when you factor in the amount of time it takes to go to and from and gas and fuel and whatever else, it starts to add up.
Yeah, for me too. Mine's pretty close, and I even feel that it takes a long time to go back and forth.
Well, how close is it?
It's like basically I can run there in like 30 minutes after work, and then I take like a bus that's like maybe 30 minutes to get there.
So it's the same thing. You run as fast as a bus. Yeah, I get it with all the stuff.
Actually, now these days I probably would go, but I don't want to risk any injury. Like I have all these races coming up, so then that's my thing now. Is I wish I could go bouldering, but I don't want to risk it because you can just land wrong or something, and your ankle gets a bit bruised, and then I don't want to like have to skip a race or something because of that.
Well, just do climbing with rope.
Yeah, I guess it's just like every once in a while, like I don't know, like you scrape a knee on the, like you bang a knee on the wall or
whatever.
Yeah. It's funny because like I do all this physical stuff to make myself stronger, but then I become like extremely concerned that I'll get like a tiny injury and have to like miss, some event that I've planned, and that's kind of weird because I should be getting like stronger and more robust and worrying less about injury, but I end up becoming like obsessed about like I have some kind of fitness goal, and then I want to like be so careful in my daily life so that I don't get injured.
I get it, man. You're over 30. I mean, like you just hear your knees wanting to go every day. Well, I mean, like you can try doing the rope climbing. You get control on the way down, right? You go slow. I think the chances of you hurting your knees or your ankles are a lot less.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. I don't have a partner, then I have to find a partner. But that's what I want to do is find people.
Yeah. So it's like maybe they got the board up and you put your name up there. Maybe there's a Facebook group as well, and you can find people that way. Find community that way. I mean, I'm making excuses saying it's too far, but really, I guess part of it's also I'm scared. I'm scared to get into something that I'm extremely passionate about. because I'm also like,
the area.
well, I mean, I'm here's like I'm planning on leaving here, right, and going to BC. So like, my fear is of building a community that I love or being a part of a community that I grow to love, and then having to leave it. I've had to do it so many times now. I'm just afraid to lose it, but at the same time, I'm also afraid of rejection. So yeah, there's different thoughts holding me back. I mean, if it was super close, like the yoga when I was in Hamilton was a 7-minute drive away. I went sometimes twice a day. Started to become part of that community, even though I know it was temporary. But it was too close to not go. Like, there was no excuse, and I needed that physical training because like wintertime sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, if you really want something, it doesn't matter how inconvenient it is, you do it. Like, I would travel 30 minutes to go to yoga when I was living in Borton. I do that once a week. I think we prioritize what's important. So now that I'm full remote, do I need to commit to a one gym, or could I go just do drop-ins? And that's the thing. If I could just do drop-ins, and if I'm going to travel to like Mississauga or Oakville or Toronto, just be like, where's the gym? Where's the climbing gym in that area? Join the Facebook group saying I'm new to the area. What's the procedure when I go climbing? And then just pop up and meet random people and go climbing. I could do that. So I'm just coming up with this idea on the spot. So I think I'm going to actually try something like that, because like me being static is just not going to be a thing from this point forward. Like, I'm always going to be moving around, going to different places.
Would you live in like a van, a camping van?
Not a van, an RV. Like
Like a slightly larger van, I guess, is basically an RV.
yeah. I need to figure out what exactly this RV is called, or the size of it, or what its style is. But like, I know exactly what it is in my mind.
The one, does it have like a bunk bed over the driver's seat?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one.
I think that's called like a Class B RV.
Class B RV. Let's take a look on the Googles. No, I'm on Facebook Messenger. I'm not going to find it there. Oops. So yeah, it's like that type where you walk in the door, you got a little seating area for your meal, you got a kitchen, you got washroom, pooper, and a shower, you got a little tiny lounge area, you got your driver's seat, passenger seat, and then like a loft. But then you have the option of turning like the little couch in your chill area into a sleeping area. Like, the option of being able to host people as well. So Class B, was it?
Oh, I think it's called Class C actually.
Class.
It seems like Class A is like the perfect rectangle. Class A is like the huge perfect rectangle. Class B is like the van, and then Class C is like the van with the bunk, the loft.
Yeah, so Class C. And it wouldn't have to be one of the newer ones, like, even though that does look real good. Like, my aunt took a one from the 1970s, an old retro one, and just spiced it up. It looked real good. Like, I wanted that one, but she said that it had its issues. So, and it doesn't have to like expand on the sides or anything crazy like that as well. But yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. So there's some larger ones, but then there's like the shorter ones, and I'd be happy in the shorter one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the smaller the better, because I feel like if there's a shower, it's not super comfortable, and like if there's a washroom, that's okay. We have to like actually empty the washroom at like dumping stations, and the smaller, if you just go smaller and then just like shower at campsites and cook, like somewhere. I guess cooking might be kind of convenient inside, but then you could just, I guess, get like a one burner stove or something and then cook.
Well, they have all that in there, right? The one I'm thinking of has all that built in. So like, shit, where are the pictures?
And then there's a website. There's a website where you can just like, people will tell you like it. You can just pay them to, or no, I think it's free or something. You just can like pull up in front of their house and like camp in your van. like either on their property or in front of their house. That's like a website also, and that's kind of cool because then it's like, you're just driving wherever and you just have to get permission to stop somewhere. But
No,
yeah,
that's an app or something.
I saw it. What was it called? I saw the website a few days ago, and it
Yeah,
was
send it to me offline if because I do think that's going to be something that I'm going to try that out. I'm also going to try sailing for a while. Like these are all like these longer term goals that I have. But the RVing around the island, I want to see every square inch of BC, man, and then I want to go to the States after.
well, yeah. I guess we can wrap up for today. I'll try to find that website.
Right on. Okay. Thanks for the chat, man. I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Take care.